Hello everybody, welcome back to the classroom. Sir, welcome back. No, this is our first class. Okay, welcome to the class. So hi, today we are going to talk about cost and management audit. Yes. See, every area somehow needs specialization. So we have, just like we have different doctors. So when it comes to audit, we have different specialized people or specialized professionals to take care of that. Just like we have, when it comes to teeth, I have a dentist. When it comes to eyes, we have eye specialists. When it comes to kidney or lungs or heart, we have different people. So just like that, there is a term named as cost and management audit, which is required to be carried out only by a cost and management member. Once you are going to pass, you will be known as a member of ICMAI. Right. So today the topic is all about from where did this concept from what was the origin of this concept? From where did all this started that there should be a costing audit, there should be a cost audit, right? Or you must have heard about a term named as cost audit. How many of you have covered Companies Act? How many of you know about Companies Act? In Companies Act, have you covered audit? Have you studied audit? Over there, in section number 148, there was a concept named as cost audit. Now, what is cost audit? Cost audit is all about that whatever the costs which are over there attributable towards any, you can say, product which is being manufactured. It's all about, identification and verification of the various cost objects. Okay, that means whatever the costing drivers or the costing elements, they are assigned properly or not. Getting my point? Okay. So first of all, we need to, how much is cost important to us? How much is cost important? Cost is very important, sir. Why? Why cost is important? Because once we are done with cost, then we are going to add our profit and then only we can decide our selling price, on the basis of which we are going to make sales. Cost is very important. We cannot underestimate cost. Okay. And if we have underestimated or our cost is not proper, we can face a lot of issues. Okay. Now the government, why there is a kind of audit? Why? I don't understand. Because there may be a situation that you are going to, increase your cost. Let us suppose that the cost is like 10 rupees and you are selling it at 18 rupees. 8 rupees is your profit. What people have done so far, what the organizations can do, they can make their cost at 16 rupees, that yes, this is our cost, and they can make their profit like 2 rupees. At this point of time, my dear students, the government will be like, oh my god, earlier the profit was 8 rupees. Government was able to get taxes at 8 rupees. Now they will be getting at 2 rupees. So that can also be one of the points. So the cost accounting or the cost accounts and their correction is very much important. If their cost accounts are complete and they are accurate, it will be very easy for an organization to move ahead, to find out that whether we have any kind of glitches in cost or not, to find out whether there is any kind of a fraud going on or not. Right? A lot of things are going to be there. So let us see first of all what is the definition of cost and management audit. Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, London. CIMA is not name of a girl, that is CIMA, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. It means they have clarified cost audit is the verification of the correctness of cost accounts and adherence to the cost accounting plan. The very first line itself says that the cost accounts should be correct. If they are not correct, that means you are undermining the cost or the records that they are not complete. And just like there should be adherence to the cost accounting plan. Now, what is this cost accounting plan? That means whatever the standards, just like in accounts you have your accounting standards, in costing you have costing standards, in audit you have cost accounting standards. As per those standards, you need to conduct your audit. Okay, and do remember, my dear student, this audit is required to be conducted only by a cost and management accountant. No CA, no company secretary, no lawyer, no engineer, nobody can conduct this audit. Only a cost and management accountant can conduct this audit. Congratulations. Moving ahead. Now talking about what is the purpose. The purpose is to properly verify the cost, whatever the product which is over there into your organization, let it be like your product or your service, on the basis of accounts which you have maintained so far, they are going to identify whether the cost which has been determined, which has been calculated is correct or not. So earlier what happens generally, that was the cost audit was not mandatory, but now things have changed so far. Now the next is, you may get this kind of question in MCQ or true and false. Institute of Cost Accountants of India, what they have said, that cost audit, it is a system of audit introduced by Government of India. Over here we are talking about India, and this is from London SEMA, right? And for review, examination and appraisal of cost accounting records and attendant information required to be maintained by the specified industries. So over here, first of all, I'm not going to tell you guys that what are the basics of auditing, because everybody knows auditing is all about verification. Auditing is all about verification. Just like you are going to appear for examinations, and over there the examiner is going to check that whether you have written things properly or not. Now, my dear students, next is, if we have cost accounting records, if we have like cost accounting records which are prepared by any company, so there will be an auditor. There are some specified industries which are required to prepare these kind of records. It is written under a section, and we do have cost audit records rules as well, which we are going to cover later. So industries, they are going to prepare these records, and this auditor, cost and management auditor, he is going to verify these records. This is cost and management audit. There he is going to review, he is going to examine, and then he is going to appraise that yes, whether the accounts or cost accounting records are correct or not. That means the information which has been specified by these industries are correct or not. That these cost accounting records are correct or not. So earlier, do remember, this audit is different from the statutory audit, from the secretarial audit point of view. They are totally different. Moving ahead, my dear student, now we are going to talk about that in layman terms, right? Or in layman terms. Sir, you told us about something that, there are some kind of standards. Yes. Right? If I talk about standards, see, whenever anybody, any cost and management accountant, any CMA is going to conduct an audit, so he will be termed as auditor. Now, whenever he will be conducting an audit, there needs to be a standardized approach which is to be adopted by everybody, or else what is going to happen, right? So let's do one thing. Let's move ahead. Let's talk about the next part. The next part over here straight away talks about, see, okay, so I was talking about the standardized approach. So everybody would be doing the audit in their terms. Somebody is going to look after cost and accounting records. Somebody would look after the books of accounts first. After that, they will move on to costing records. Somebody will look at production first. After that, they will move on to the WIP part. Right. So, it's all about that nobody is going to have a standardized approach. So what institute thought that they should help them. So this was straight away in the mind of ICMAI. What institute thought that I should provide them a guideline, or I should help them. So what institute has done? Institute has straight away developed SCA, Standards on Cost Audit, or you can say Standards on Cost Auditing. Here institute has clearly designed that yes, these are going to be the standards, and you straight away have to follow them. Just like you have your accounting standards, just like you have your cost accounting standards, these are standards, but these are standards for auditing purpose, right? They are for auditing purpose only. Earlier, what you have so far covered into your, if I talk about the intermediate part, there you have covered about auditing, but over here we will be straight away talking about only and only cost and management audit. That what are the various parts which we will be looking after. Moving ahead, my dear students, talking about the next part. So if we talk about the SCA, the very first part which as a cost auditor you should carefully go through is, the very first is SCA 103. That means there you will come to know about that what are going to be particularly the objectives of audit, why this audit is being conducted. After that we have like 104, that understanding the business. See, whenever you are going to conduct audit of any entity, first of all, you need to understand their business, that what kind of business they are doing, what is their production plan, and how things are moving, what are the various expenses which they are doing in costing nature particularly. And after that, this is all about understanding the business. understanding business. So just like that, you have understood your syllabus first, and after that you have started planning that yes, I am going to plan now. I am going to take cost and management audit. I am going to start SPMBV, just like that. Now the next part straight away talks about SCA 101. So the sequence is not correct. It's not about sequence first of all. It's all about the planning part. Institute is not over there that they're going to tell you that yes, this is going to be a sequence. Come on. Things are over there. You are not into that stage where each and everything is going to be, the spoon feeding has been completely discontinued now. Now you need to apply your mind at a lot of places. See, SCA 101 is all about planning, and SCA, Standards on Cost Auditing 102, is all about the documentation. So whenever it comes to any audit, first of all, we are going to find out what is the purpose of conducting this audit. After that, we are going to understand, being as an auditor, I'm going to understand that my client, what kind of a business he is doing. So after that, we are going to plan that in my audit, what are the various areas which are going to be covered, and after that, the audit will continue, and at the end, I'm going to prepare straight away a cost audit report, and that will be submitted straight away to the board of directors. That cost audit report should be straight away as per the applicable standards of cost auditing. Okay, got my point? So, I mean, these standards are going to, this is something which we are going to study in a very elaborative part. The logic being, because standards have clearly said that yes, whenever you have any kind of doubt, you are going to check them again. Do remember, right? And sir, is it possible, like, there was an auditor who was conducting audit, and he left in between due to some any other reasons, and can any other auditor continue from there? Definitely, you can continue from where he has left. So do I need to start the work from the very scratch itself, or I can start from the part where he has left? You can start from where the previous auditor has left. You need to check. You need not to check each and every detail again particularly. If you are finding it like that it is required and satisfied, so great. You can move ahead. You can rely upon the previous auditor. But if you seriously want, things to be concluded first. You seriously want that yes, I need to complete each and everything on my own. I cannot rely upon the work of another auditor. It's okay. It's okay. You can do each and everything on your own. Generally, what is a good practice, that you can take a certificate from him on the work which he has done so far, and you can rely upon it. If the mistake now occurs on his part, he will be held liable for that. That is all about whenever we are going to cover these standards on cost auditing in detail, we will cover each and every concept. Today, I am just giving you a brief overview of what are the various things which are included over here. Okay, understood. Now, okay, so as I told you, whenever it comes to a cost auditor, these standards are going to be your help desk, your best friend, or you can say whenever you need, these are going to be the customer care for you. Whenever you need anything, just open these standards and they are going to help you that what you are going to do further. You just need to have your hands upon the cost accounting part. That should be good unless you don't know, you are not going to have proper hands upon the auditing part. So for every auditing, let it be financial or let it be like your cost auditing, financial accounting for financial audit or statutory audited, the base is accounts. Whereas when it comes to the cost auditing, the base is costing. You need to have good command over there. So whatever is written over there in these paragraphs, I have already explained, though you can go through with them, but I'm not finding it anything like that you need to remember that or you need to memorize that. Anyways, moving on to the next part. So, from where does this concept came from, like that we need to have, certain kind of cost accounting and we need to audit the cost accounts. So this is being like, earlier what used to happen, this is just a history. You need not to note down anything else. Just listen to me now. That's it. Now, earlier what used to happen that there was the taxation was there on cost plus basis. Whatever is there, if something is there, your cost plus basis. So this was the system, and Government of India, they used to give contracts to some accountants who are going to conduct the cost audit, and the government used to authorize only the government particularly issues a notification which was applicable only to some large number of firms. Not everybody was, not on every firm that was applicable. So this trend continued being like for a long time period, and after that it came into India as well. I was not talking about India first. Earlier, that concept was the government, they identified a large number of firms, and after that they have given contract to some professionals to conduct the cost audit. And after that, what happened that during after World War II, and after, you can say, like rest of the things, this concept emerged in India as well. This concept emerged in India as well. And suddenly we came to know about that a cost and works accountant of India was set up in the year 1944. Do you guys know, even chartered accountants, they came in the year 1949. Even me, company secretary, we came in the year 1980. But cost and works accountants of India, this was set up in the year 1944. The objective was straight away about the cost accounting, developing the profession of cost accountancy in the country, because they somehow understood that yes, it is very important. After that, it was again enacted by as a parliament, as a body of parliament in the year 1959. After that, there was a cost and works accountant bill, the joint committee, deputy committee. I mean, a lot of things were over there. So moving on to next, after that, the name was also changed. I don't know whether they have mentioned it over here or not. Sir, wait. Yeah. So the very first thing you are telling us about that, yes, this was the origin over there back at the time. I mean, back to pre-independence era, before 1950s, 1944, blah blah blah, and so many things. So nobody told, I mean, nobody explained that why cost audit is necessary, why there's a need of cost audit. Yes, this was explained. This was explained straight away by a committee which was framed under straight away Deputy Minister of Commerce and Industry at this point of time, and today known as Ministry of Commerce. Okay? Ministry of Corporate. Now, over there, they explained straight away that why such cost accounting is needed, why such cost audit is needed. They told that yes, cost accounting is a very different function. This is not like financial accounting. Financial accounting means that we are going to record each and every transaction. It is not like that. It is different from general or financial accounting. Cost accounting is going to cover a range of subjects. Over there, if I talk about cost accountancy, that includes that includes cost accounting, factory organization, management, your engineering techniques, how your factories are working. So if I talk about cost audit, we are going to talk about the pricing, that how we are going to fix the price of a particular product. Because if we are manufacturing something, then I need to add each and every expense which we are particularly spending, or you can say any kind of transaction which we are doing from our pockets. Any debit from our pocket is our expense, and we are going to add it in our product in order to find out the exact cost price, or COGS. So cost accounting that involves pricing of goods, preparation of cost accounts, and the related statements. Just like that, in accounts you are going to prepare the accounts along with accounts you are going to prepare like the notes to accounts. Just like that, we are going to look after goods, preparation, verification, certification of cost accounts, and each and every related part itself. In any manufacturing industry, if we talk about, the cost audit is again very important, because we are going to find out the cost of production. We are going to find out that yes, at each stage of production, how much of manpower we are using, how much of manpower is being wasted. How many people do we actually need? How much man force is it actually required? Is there any kind of overstaffing, or is there any kind of insufficiency in manpower? That is something which we are going to find out. Is there any kind of wastage when it comes to the manpower, or when it comes to the raw material? What is going to be the exact level of the stock positions? That means the inventories. Is there any kind of weakness in our production systems? Each and everything is to be, you can say, evaluated under the cost audit itself. So they told us that yes, it is very important the way goods are moving from inventory to finished goods. The process is working properly or not. The systematic determination of cost in each and every element, in each and every, you can say, minute thing is very important. Got it? How you are dealing with the finished products. If a particular finished product is being returned, how you are dealing with that. Just like, I mean, you must have seen that there are a lot of rejected items. How we are treating them, how the rejection of finished products is being treated. What about the defects and deficiencies which are over there in the products? What kind of remedies you are taking? You are destroying that product. You are destroying that product completely. So let us say that I have somebody in my known, what they are doing, that that they are dealing in electronics, and in case of a refrigerator, if that costs around 1.5 lakh rupees, there's a dent on that refrigerator due to any kind of manufacturing that got a dent, and now they are selling it at 85,000 rupees. So what the company is doing, the organization or the manufacturing unit, they are selling it outside the organization. They are not giving it to their distributors, whereas they are selling it into some kind of odd markets. Right? So what is the exact remedy? So costing exactly in you can say straight terms is all about the efficiency and you can say economical part of an organization, which straight away looks after the how much effectively the organization is working and how much economically the organization is working. Getting my point? Yes. If I talk about a machine, now the cost auditor is going to find out that what is the maximum output of a machine, for how much hours the machine should work, and for how much hours the machine is actually working. What is the full capacity of machine output, how much you can produce in a day, and how much you are producing in a day. I mean, the actual versus expected results. What was your policy, as per your policy, as per your budget, how much you are preparing, and how much you have done. As per your budget, that lies into statutory audit. But when it comes to the costing part, the machinery part, manpower part, labor part, everything lies over here. So this is the total paragraph which I have explained. You can go through with this. Okay, moving ahead. As I told you that I'm not going to mark everything. I can explain each and everything. I can explain like 10,000 times. But do remember, these things need to be taken care of. Apart from that, so as we guys know that really very well, there are n number of frauds which are taking up, which are being like, n number of frauds are over there in these days. So there was a fraud named as Dalmia Jan Companies. Then the government, what happened, that there was a commission which was appointed, Vivin Bose Commission, Datta Commission, Dharaparte Shastri Committee. These committees particularly were framed, and after that what they have observed, that there were some kind of inadequacies in financial accounting and auditing. The company has done some kind of inadequacies in the proper financial accounting system. That means that lies on accounts part, not on your part. Your part is purely cost audit. And next is, there were some kind of problems in corporate disclosures. Corporate disclosures means that you need to intimate public, you need to inform public whenever it comes to any kind of corporate action that you have covered so far into your LODR or your board report, or your, you can say, filing various forms with ROC. Now what they have done, they have, after that they particularly recommended something. What was that? They told that yes sir, there should be a system of cost accounting and there should be a system of cost audit. Yes, we do know that there is financial accounting, we do have financial audit or named as statutory audit. But in addition towards that, for the development of this industrial phase, how will you come to know about that there is shortage? You are working on shortage of goods and raw materials. How you will come to know about that what is the capital, what is the consumer good, and what is how the production is going on, from where you are getting resources. A lot of you can say organizations are facing shortages of inputs and products and services. So government thought like, okay, by that time we were over there being into like, we were in initial days our country was totally based upon agriculture. Now we have to move towards the industrial fields. Now there was a mechanism. So what government thought, that yes, we need somebody who can control, who can monitor the cost of production and the inputs which are over there, so that there should not be any kind of scarcity of resources. So after that, the cost audit emerged. We need somebody to look after our costing proper part, we need somebody who can look after the cost of production, what kind of production we are doing, are there any better ways, what kind of manpower we do have, what kind of raw materials we are using, what is our production phase, right? Each and everything is there. Moving ahead, the next is in the year 1944, ICWAI was established as a company. Do you remember? At that point of time, there was not Companies Act. There was not Companies Act 2013. There was not even 1956. At that point of time, there was Companies Act 1913. Earlier to that, 1860s, 1886, 1866, 1850, Joint Stock Companies Act was the name. So it was established as a company over there. And after that, government find that yes, there should be a special act. This institute cannot be governed just like a company. There needs to be a special act. Then the Cost and Works Accountant of India Act was established, named as Cost Accountants Act, Cost and Works Accountants Act 1959. After that, they have changed the name. It was in the year 2012 when the name was changed to the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. Then this name was changed. Moving ahead, the next part. Now this is all about the history of Institute, the history of Institute of Cost Accountants of India. So this is the history of Institute, not cost audit. Do remember this part. I'm not talking about the cost audit. We are just talking about the history of your institute itself. Moving ahead, the history of cost audit. History of cost audit is all about that the cost audit was first introduced in India, and that was first introduced in the year 1965. At this point of time, we had Companies Act 1956. Today we have Companies Act 2013, and at that point of time we had section number 233B of Companies Act 1956, which straight away came and introduced the cost audit concept. This section told us about the cost audit, and section number 209 told us about the maintenance of cost records. Now at this point of time, sir, we don't have Companies Act 1956 today. At this point of time, we have section number 148 of Companies Act 2013. And we have companies maintenance of cost audit records and cost records rules, which we are going to talk about in proper detail. Now, after this time, till the year 2008, not everybody was required to maintain cost audit records. Only few industries were over there. After that, in the year 2008, a committee was set up. They told us that yes, there should be a cost audit mechanism. The committee submitted the report, and at the end, in the year 2011, there was a concept of mandatory cost audit. Before this, there were just only few industries which were required to conduct a cost audit. There was not that much scope. But now there were certain limits. Whenever a company is going to cross these limits, that company has to, let me tell you, that company has to, it is mandatory for them to get the cost audit done. Okay. So what is that limit now? If I talk about the limits, section number 148 of Companies Act 2013 straight away talks about cost audit. Now wait, what happened over here? That the government came with certain notifications. Those notifications were all about the amendment in section number 148. They told us that yes, who is required to have cost records and who is required to conduct cost audit. We just used to refer this section number 148, but along with this, we refer companies cost audit companies. This is something which we are going to discuss in detail later, but this is just for your information. Cost records and audit rules 2014. Rule number 3 in these rules straight away talks about that who are required to keep cost audit records, who are required to keep particularly cost records, who are required to go under a cost audit. Now there are particularly these two sections. There are two sections for these. The very first is all about the table number A, and the next is table number B. Right? The table number A talks about certain kind of regulated sectors. You need not to note down. If you want to note down, you can, but that's okay. I mean, I can understand. Now, apart from that, in table B, we have certain kind of non-regulated sectors. Regulated sectors generally include a lot of industries. I can share that list with you. Government has prepared these two sections now. Earlier, the phenomena was totally different. Now the things are different. See, overall turnover, if I talk about total turnover should be 50 crore or more, right? And the next is aggregate. If a particular company or an organization, from all products I'm talking about, now they have diversified this, that whether you are manufacturing one product or all products, total turnover from all products, right? If they are manufacturing only one product or service, you can say, then your total is 25 crore rupees. If you belong to a non-regulated sector, then in this situation, the aggregate can be 100 crore rupees or more. Then only you need to get your cost records audited by a cost auditor. And if there's only a single product, that is 35 crore rupees or more. So now still we have the doubt in our mind, which is all about the regulated and non-regulated sectors. I mean, seriously, you want me to explain that to you right now? Okay, I can explain each and everything. Don't worry about that. So this is totally about the notification which was released on 14th of July 2016, my dear students. So over there, this is just for your reference. Do not, try to make a note for them. If you want any kind of doubts are there, just take my WhatsApp number. I'm there with you guys. See, the industry, just like telecommunication services, right? They fall in regulated sectors. General transmission and supply of electricity, it is again a regulated sector. Petroleum products, regulated sector. Drug, pharmaceuticals, fertilizers, sugar and industrial alcohol, they are regulated sectors. When it comes to non-regulated sectors, they have like machinery and mechanical appliances, which we are using in defense, space, atomic energies. Turbojets we have arms, propellant powders, radar apparatus, radio navigationals, tanks, port services. We have road and other infrastructure projects. We have like rubber and allied products, ores and mineral products, cement, mineral fuels, organic, construction industries, milk powders, just like Amul, tire and tubes, MRF, Apollo, paper, textiles. A lot of industries are over there which belong to these non-regulated sectors. This was an amendment which came in the year 2016 on 14th of July. Now moving ahead and talking about the next part. So after that, in the year 2014, new Companies Cost Records and Audit Rules 2014 were issued under the Companies Act 2013. So these are the rules which we are talking about. Now, whenever you are going to cover this section number 148, do not forget to write rule number 3 along with that. So this was the history that how cost audit came into play, right? So if your module talks about 1 unit, I will give you 1.5 units. Don't worry about that. Just relax. Just sit back and relax. Now this is section number 148 of Companies Act. As I have mentioned earlier also, that over here, along with section number 148, we are going to refer rule number 3 always. Now section number 138 is just going to tell you that you need to prepare a cost audit report, blah, 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 and so many things. So whatever I'm going to mark over there, you just need to refer that much only. Okay? Whatever we are going to mark over there, you just need to refer that much only. Section number 148 of Companies Act 2013, they said that central government is going to specify audit of items of cost in respect of certain companies. That is going to be like, if central government thinks that whenever audit of cost records is mandatory, they are, depending upon the net worth, or you can say the turnover amount, they are going to issue a notification that from this time on these industries cost audits is going to be applicable. Okay, moving ahead. Now, whenever we talk about an audit, who is going to be an auditor? Audit shall be conducted by a cost accountant in practice. Do remember, the people who are going to be in employments, they cannot conduct cost audit, right? And who shall be appointed? Who shall be appointed by the board itself. Got my point? And apart from that, plus, do remember this also, no person appointed under section 139 as an auditor. That means statutory auditor cannot be appointed as a cost auditor. I'm writing over here, do remember, statutory auditor or your financial auditor cannot be appointed as cost auditor. Whatever audit is being conducted by a chartered accountant, that is a statutory audit, and they are not authorized to conduct cost audit, my dear students. They cannot be appointed as cost auditor. Cost auditor can only be a person who is a cost accountant in practice. Nobody else can conduct a cost audit apart from cost accountant in practice. This is the only part which is important on this page only. Okay, right? If we talk about what are cost accounting standards, these are the standards which are issued by Cost and Works Accountants of India. Very simple. Pursuant to cost and works accounts with approval of government. Moving ahead in the next part, if we talk about the next part, the next is if we talk about, let us say you have an auditor, you have a cost auditor over here. So there are going to be certain kind of qualifications or disqualifications or the duties which are required to be assigned to this person. How you are going to find out those things? How you are going to find out? So they are saying that we have written each and everything when it comes to what kind of rights he is going to have, who is going to be when a cost account auditor is going to be disqualified, when he is going to be disqualified, when you can say that yes, he is qualified, when you can say that yes, when you can say that yes, these are his duties. There's a difference between rights and duties. Rights which can be done at a point of time, which can be exercised at a point of time, but there is something which you need to do on daily basis, that is known as a duty, right? So whatever is required, so they are straight away saying that we have mentioned each and everything under the rules itself. And whenever a cost auditor is going to conduct audit, he is going to conduct audit, and after that doing his audit, he is going to prepare an audit report. This audit report is required to be submitted by the cost auditor in practice to board of directors of the organization. Do remember, this cost auditor who is in practice can only perform audit. The report on cost auditors shall be submitted by the cost accountant in practice to the board of directors of the company. Do remember this part. Okay. Sir, understood. That means whatever is required, if we talk about the disqualification, qualification, everything is mentioned. Yes, once we are going to talk about the rules, you will get that each and everything is mentioned over there. Now, moving ahead and talking about, see, this is your cost auditor. Your cost auditor has submitted his report or audit report to the board of directors of the company. Now, these board of directors are straight away going to furnish the report to central government with each and every explanation. If this cost auditor, whatever, just like your examination, or you can say report card, you have certain kind of subjects where you got like excellent marks, and there are few things which you got over, like the student needs to learn some discipline. All the time he is talking to girls, right? He needs to learn that it's good to keep quiet sometimes. Every time asking to go for toilet, right? So there can be some kind of adverse remarks as well whenever anybody is coming for any kind of audit. So he can give you adverse remarks as well. So board of directors, whenever they have received this audit report from the cost auditor, they are going to submit the same to central government within 30 days. Within a period of 30 days. Within 30 days, he's going to submit the same to central government, along with each and every explanation, with each and every detail. Okay, got it. Understood. After that, the central government is going to find that whether there is any kind of further explanation is necessary or not. If they need any further information, if they need any further information, then in this situation, the board of directors or the company has to provide that information to the central government. Sir, let us say that if we have never listened to anybody. We don't want to listen to you, man. Who are you, central government? See, if you have made any kind of a default in complying with the provisions, right? If you have not fulfilled the provisions, the company and its every officer of the company and the cost auditor is going to punish. They will be punished suitably. Now see, now I'll show you straight away on the website of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and the amended Companies Act that how you will be punished and what are going to be the consequences if you are going to make a default in the provisions of this section only. See, now what is written over here, if any person who has any provisions is contravened, right? Can you see over here? If any provision has been contravened, then in this situation, the person who is there on the company, let it be any officer or anybody, he's going to be punishable with a fine, which is going to be like 25,000 rupees and which may extend to 5 lakh rupees. This is fine on company. Do remember, fine on company is different and fine on officers is different. Sir, because company is a separate legal entity. Getting my point? Company is a separate legal entity. Do remember this part. Sir, where are you going now? Just give me a moment, my dear students. Now, this was the provision which was earlier. Now, the things have changed. If you have done a default in statutory audit or in cost audit, they both are equal. So what they are saying, 25,000 to 5 lakh rupees, and every officer who is in default, he is going to be punishable with 10,000 rupees, which may extend to 1 lakh rupees. 10,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees. Now there's an amendment which has taken place over here. See, sir, we are unable to understand this. This is law and we are unable to understand this. I don't know what is this written. We need to get it simplified. Okay, that's why you have paid, my dear students. Don't worry, we have already simplified this for you. I just wanted to give you guys a glimpse of that how books actually or how law actually looks. Right? Audit is all about that each and everything which is connected with law itself. See, so what was there earlier and what has been amended? We have written at this point of time. This was the provision earlier. And this is the amendment which has taken place. Okay, when this amendment has taken place, see, it is all, everything is written over here. See, over here, if we talk about, this is the amendment which has taken place from, we are talking about the officer of company on number 5. So this amendment has taken place on 28th of September, effective from 21st of December 2020. So earlier the provision was, if there is going to be any kind of contravention when it comes to the provisions of cost audit, the company is going to be punishable with a fine which may rise, which is going to start from 25,000 rupees. That means this is going to be minimum and the maximum fine is going to be 5 lakh rupees. Understood? Now every officer of the company who is found guilty, now there will be a fine. There is going to be a fine of 10,000 rupees. That means the minimum fine on that person is going to be 10,000 rupees and the maximum fine is going to be 1 lakh rupees. Earlier, this was 5 lakh rupees. Now the government has decreased this to 1 lakh rupees and they have added a provision, or there may be an imprisonment. That means a holiday package of 1 year is going to be there, or both. Now you need to understand that what is the difference between and or. Or means anyone. Or means anyone is going to be there. Either there will be a fine, either there will be imprisonment. And when it's written like and, it means fine is going to be there, plus along with that imprisonment is going to be there. There will be both. There will be both of them. Understood? Or means any one of them is going to be there. That means either fine is going to be there or either imprisonment is going to be there. Now moving ahead, my dear students, talking about the next part. If the cost auditor of the company, he has contravened with the provisions, then there will be a fine on him, like 25,000 rupees to 5 lakh rupees is going to be the fine. And or you are going to compare this with the 4 times of the remuneration fee which he is getting. Remuneration fee means audit fees which he is getting from the company itself. We are going to compare whatever is going to be less. Let us say he is getting like 5 lakh rupees from the company. We are going to compare it like 5 into 4. That means 20 lakh rupees, 25 or 5 lakh or your 20 lakh, which is less, 5 lakhs is less. 5 lakh is going to be the fine. This part, what is going to be between 25 to 5 lakh rupees, this will be decided by the government itself. This fine is applicable when there was not such intention, not willfully done. Willfully means he knew that it is a contravention, right? He didn't knew about these kind of provisions, and it was done by mistake, not willfully done. But if he is like a very much, you can say, smart person, and he has willfully done contravention of these things, and that has been done to deceive, to do any kind of fraud. So now the law is saying, oh my God, now I'll punish you. So imprisonment is going to be there for the cost auditor. Do remember, these provisions are over here for the cost auditor, my dear students. So the cost auditor is going to be punishable with imprisonment, which may be up to 1 year. And means both of them, there will be fine and there will be imprisonment. Fine is going to be like from 50,000 rupees to 25 lakh rupees, and or the fine is going to be, it is going to be computed from this calculation, or 8 times of the remuneration fees. Got it? So this is one, it is willfully done when the cost auditor does have the intention to commit any kind of fraud or the intention to do so. Moving ahead, my dear students, talking about the next part. Now, if the auditor is found guilty, he is going to refund all the fees and to pay. He is going to pay damages, let it be like to government, or let us say to members. He's going to pay damages to members, government, or you can say the creditors of the company, or you can say, let it be like any other statutory authority. He is going to pay damages. And there was an amendment where the government inserted any other person who has suffered damages just because he or that person relied upon the report prepared by the cost auditor, he can also claim damages. Sir, if the auditor is not going to give the damages, then the government may look like that government, it's easy to make them fool, but it's not like that. Government is going to make a committee, and that committee is going to ensure that the damages have been paid by the auditor to each and every person who has suffered. If the order has been passed by court, after that there is going to be a committee who is going to ensure that yes, these things have actually taken place. Moving on to the next provision, then why we need the objectives of cost audit. That means why we need cost audit, my dear students, why we have these kind of provisions in our books, why we are studying this. So, okay, the second last topic for today. It was really a short chapter, but we have elaborated a lot of things. So we have, both objectives in general terms and in social terms. First of all, the audit is done. The audit is done in order to check whether the company has maintained proper accounts or not, whether they are properly maintained, whether they are following the cost accounting system or not. After that, they have adopted the proper procedures of cost accounting records. The proper rules are being followed in order to check whether there is any kind of error or any kind of fraud going on in the company or not. In order to identify the cost centers are properly ascertained by the company. The cost centers, they have identified cost drivers, cost centers, and cost unit for each and every part properly. In order to inventory valuation, how much is the value of inventory? It may look like the company is entering in books of accounts like my inventory is for 50 crore rupees, and whereas when it comes to the real-time analysis, it is only for like 8 crore rupees, and they have just overvalued it to 50 crore rupees. After that, the fixation of price of goods and services, how the fixation is being going on, how they are fixing goods of price and services. It may the company may do this also, that they can increase the cost in order to save their tax. They are saying that yes, our cost is too much. They're saying we don't have profit, but when it comes to internal terms, they have a lot of profit. And after that, is there a proper reconciliation between the cost account and the financial accounts? Are you able to reconcile them, or is it like the financial accounts are going right and the cost accounts are going left? There should be a proper reconciliation. And one of the most important parts, you need to ensure that you are utilizing your resources properly. That means every resource which is there is being utilized properly by the organization or not. After that, is there any kind of loss of material or time? Is there any kind of loss of material or time? After that, inculcation of cost conscious. Inculcation means to implant, to introduce the feeling of cost consciousness in their mind. And after that they are going to give, and they can also advise the management in terms of inter-firm comparison and cost records, that this firm is doing this much and how can you while you are spending this much, they have this much human resource, this much stock, you have everything in extra, still you are unable to make optimum productions. And this will also help in promoting good corporate governance, because there are going to be optimal disclosures of the directors. Everything, that means wherever we talk about transparency and disclosure, the corporate governance comes into play. If the transparency is there, proper disclosures are there, the chances of fraud are going to reduce like nil. Okay, moving ahead, my dear students, talking about the last topic for today. Now we have the cost accounting standards. Now what does it mean by the cost accounting standards? In order to have uniformity, consistency, standardization, just like we have accounting principles, we have cost accounting principles. Now over here what we have next is the cost accounting standards. So in order to have, so that everybody is going to have a consistent approach, everybody is going to move into a particular way only. The Institute of Cost Accountants of India, they found a need that yes, there should be a need for a structural program, a structural approach when it comes to the research, in order to have the in order to achieve uniformity and consistency. So what they have done, they have framed a board. It seems like I'm going to sneeze, very hardly. So please don't mind that. I will try to get it edited, please. So they have framed a body named as Cost Accounting Standards Board, CASB. Their objective is formulating the cost accounting standards. So the cost accounting standards, why they are in play, to provide what are the benefits, why there is a need of cost accounting standards. And the MCQ can be, which is the body which looks after Cost Accounting Standards Board, CASB. This is the body itself. Cost accounting standards, that means they provide a structured approach to the measurement of cost in manufacturing process or service industry. First of all, everybody needs a structure, right? That structured approach is provided by the cost accounting standards board. Apart from that, the next is integrate, harmonize, standardized cost accounting principles and practices, so that you can have a harmonized, standardized principles and practices. Apart from that, if we talk about, the allocation of cost to products and services, it also provides a guide to that also. Once we are going to study the standards in detail, there I will tell you each and everything. Don't worry about that. Apart from that, how you can arrive at computing, how we can fix that, what this is our cost price, how we can fix that. For that we have a basic for a particular activity or service. Whenever a regulatory body requires, so that we need to fix this cost price, what are the parameters on the basis of which you can fix the cost price? And apart from that, they help in enabling the people who are in the practice to use the cost accounting standards for the purpose of having those auditing statements. And they are all the time there to assist the issues of various government bodies, regulators, academic institutions, if any kind of issue comes in the mind while using these cost accounting standards. Okay, so these are particularly the benefits, something which needs to be memorized only. That's all, my dear students. We are done for the day, and this was just a basic. And after that, maybe we are going to look after to the very next part, most likely. And from that part, we are going to study each and everything in detail. Do remember that once we are going to indulge into things, and from there we are going to study in a more elaborative style. And just like today's classroom itself, what we will be doing it every time, that I will tell you, from this part you can expect MCQs, from this part you can expect a descriptive question. The chapter is important at every time. I used to tell you. And just like today's class, I will be showing you a lot of times the ministry website, the logic being, so that you will come to know about, you can get a surety that yes, whatever you are studying, that is absolutely amended and live, and getting a feeling of life. That is all about what I wanted to say. That's all from my side. Now, in case you have any doubts, so please feel free to raise your doubts. You can ask your doubts n number of times. Within a couple of classes, I'm going to share my email address. You can get in touch with us anytime, anywhere. Just send an email Tell us about yourself. We will share a contact number with you, or else we will try to solve the same over the email only. Bye bye. Take care of yourself. We'll see you in next class. Bye.